Greetings Midcoast Ukers, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about very basic fingerstyle ukulele, or finger picking as some call it. We have a bunch of songs that are conducive to that. Jambalaya by Hank Williams, that can be finger picked real easy. Will the circle be unbroken? Many of our songs can be played in that fingerstyle way of playing ukulele instead of strumming. So let's get into that. If we take Jambalaya, the new key that we play it in, which is G, we take our G chord, and we're going to be picking that G string. I have a low G today, but never mind that. You know, if you have a high G, this is going to give you the same results, just a slightly different sound. But just don't worry about that. The difference between high G and low G, greatly exaggerated in my opinion. So our thumb is picking that G string, whichever one you happen to have, and then our index finger is going to be picking on the E string. So that's pretty easy, right? You're just picking your G string with your thumb and your E string with your index. Then we move on down and pick our C string with our thumb, and we pick our A string with our middle. So it's thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, G, E, C, A, the names of the strings. G, E, C, A, thumb, index, thumb, middle, and faster. Nice basic finger picking pattern that sounds good when you get it going. Very typical in country music and folk music, lots of acoustic styles. So that's a good one. Again, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb on the G, index on the E, thumb on the C, middle on the A. Pretty easy. If you practice it without a chord and just cover your strings like this and mute them, you can do that while watching TV or doing something else. You don't have to really think about it. Just get that muscle memory going. Alright, so that's a fairly basic one, but let's do the most basic finger picking pattern in the entire world, and that is this one. I call it the straight down pattern. Thumb on the G, index on the C, middle on the E, ring on the A. So it's those four fingers in a row: thumb, index, middle, ring, or in Spanish guitar language, P-I-M-A. We'll talk about that later, what all that stands for. But thumb, index, middle, ring. G string, C string, E string, A string. Just sit on your open strings for a while and practice that. So a lot of basic technique, a lot of basic right hand technique, how to sit, how to hold your hand, how to angle the ukulele. We'll talk about that stuff some other time. Today we're really just getting into the mechanics of which fingers play which strings to make finger picking patterns. I don't want to fill this video up with a lot of stuff that would take us off the beaten track, so let's stick with that, just the patterns themselves today. But feel free to ask any questions if you have them about specifics. Alright, so let's do that straight down pattern on a G chord for one measure. And let's think of in terms of eighth notes, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then move on to a D7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes for a very effective pattern. The one that we were doing earlier when we did thumb, index, thumb, middle, that's called the every other pattern. That's because you're hitting every other string. So those are two of the most useful and common and easy ukulele picking patterns, the straight down one and the every other one. Let's check out a different one. There's Travis picking, and Travis picking, generally speaking, it has your thumb traveling from one string to another. Your thumb is constantly moving. Another thing about Travis picking is often it includes a pinch. And a pinch is when you play a note with your thumb on a particular string, and then play a note with a finger on a different string at the same time, known as a pinch. So a very typical Travis picking pattern might be something like this. Here it is on our G chord again. So that might have sounded a little fancy, and you might be wondering what I was doing, but it was just slight variations of the Travis picking pattern. Let's look at it on just a stationary G chord, so it doesn't at all get confusing. Our chord is just G. We're going to think about this hand more, our right hand. All right, so what are we doing? We're picking our G string with our thumb. Then we come down and pick our C string with our thumb, but at the same time, we're pinching the A string with our middle finger. And again, it pinches when you play a note with your thumb and a finger at the same time. Of course, your thumb is going down towards the floor, and your finger is going up towards the ceiling, but it's the very nature of a pinch. It's like pinching something. Your opposable thumb and your finger working in opposite directions. Pinching. Alright, so that's the first part of it. You might, if you're new to fingerstyle ukulele, you might want to practice just that. Just sit on that for a while. That'll get you going. Especially paying attention to the thumb traveling from the G string to the C string. Trying to make that smooth, accurate, and on time. On the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. See my thumb going like that? In fact, you could practice just that, just the thumb part, if you want to get used to it. Gives you this constant ostinato, they call that. A bass line that repeats over and over, an ostinato. Alright, so we got that far. Thumb note, pinch. Now let's add a couple. Let's go back and do another thumb note on the G string. Thumb, pinch, thumb. Thumb, pinch, thumb. Adding another note. That was my E string picked with my index finger. Now we can add one last note, and that's the C string with our thumb. Typical Travis picking. Here it is very slowly. Notice how it swings a little bit. I'm swinging my eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and not 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2. That'd be perfectly good in, some other kind of music, some other context. You could do straight eighth notes, but we're wanting to do swing eighth notes in this context. Typical Travis picking is swing. You can expand from there. You can take your Travis picking pattern and make it a 2-measure pattern by making the second measure slightly different. I'll show you that later. We'll get into all kinds of variations of all of this, but the very basics are the straight down pattern, the every other pattern, and this one particular Travis picking pattern. Alright, Midcoast Ukers, I hope you enjoyed that. I will provide some tabs. I'll try to put up a tab on my Patreon. Maybe I'll have John put it up on our website too. We'll see how that goes, but I'll let you know. I'll leave a link when I email this out to you, and you'll be able to get yourselves over there to see the tabs, so none of this goes by you, and you catch it all. All right, Midcoast Ukers, you take care, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.